Hey friend, welcome back to the 1010 Book Club channel. Today, in this episode, we are going to have Evelyn Tan and PC Wong together with us. They are going to share with you this extraordinary opportunity in Chinese astrology entering period 9. And aside this, they are going to zoom out to look at the macroeconomic landscape, how the war that is happening, and also opportunity that lies ahead, so that you can make a wiser investment decision. Let's go and dive into the talk now.
Good. It's Monday blues, right? So I will make it a very cheerful Monday morning. I will make it in this way. And also thanks Intel Billy, the book club, for having us here. Thank you very much. Okay. So our topic here today is on financial wealth success in the new era. Why I say new era? Because you realize that everything is changed around you ever since after COVID, after 2020, right? So we are really in a new era. Everything is faster, new technology. The technology AI, is in full explosive mode since 2023. Every one of us has some way or other interact with this new technology and in a way. And there will be more to come. And I will explain why from the energy standpoint, from the planetary movement standpoints. Okay. So here, the top outline for today will be introduction to Chinese astrology, okay, and planetary cycle. Astrology is actually has its root on astronomical studies. Okay, I think every culture they study the stars, the movement in the skies. Plus, I think in Arabs they have scholars that also study the movement in the skies as well. Same thing. Okay, so and we'll introduce what is the new era, what it means by period 9, the energy of it. It's just the energy of it. Okay, and also how does this new era, so-called period 9, or in Chinese, if you are in Chinese, you have heard of a lot of people say that 九运 is period 9, and how it impact various economy sector. And all these various economy sectors can also, be grouped into the 5 fundamental energies of Chinese astrology as well. And PC will talk about his research trend on geopolitics and geoeconomics to see whether, in the actual world of scientific research from his various research sources, does it correlate to this energy? Okay, because news can say a lot of things, but we do not know nowadays whether the news can be 100% true or not. However, the movement, the alignment of the planets can never lie. Okay, and also it will correlate back to we can filter that what really that comes and what is the true state of the world right now, and followed by the conclusion and Q&A. Just ask us as many questions as possible. Make use of PC's presence here. He traveled all the way from KL to here for this talk, and really make use of him, of his knowledge. Has very wide knowledge in investment. Even if you don't really believe in astrology, but at least you also want to grow your wealth, right? And you have an investor, a professional investor here. I also follow PC as well. And my investment portfolio has grown like more than 50-60%. Okay. Yeah. So together with PC and I, both of us, we have we team up our expertise. I know PC through a platform called Invest in Foreign Share. Okay, through KC Lau. I don't know whether you have heard of KC Lau, kclau.com. Okay, and I enrolled in the program. I knew him through that, and he always give us news, what is going on. Then I told him that, oh, in my astrology point, I see all this coming. Same thing, I can have the foresight of it. That's why roughly I know what to pick, which sector to pick to invest. At least my chances of gaining is more there. Okay, so then he approached me, can we team up and then do this program together? So we become the co-creator of Astrology and Global Trends, where we deploy both methods of Chinese astrology and the trend research on the forecast on what the future global trends. Because once you have foresights into the global forecast, the trends, you will have better insights into what sector will do well, right? And once you have the foresights, you will be able to make a better decision as well. You have the information with you. The future. That's one saying that just imagine if you know the price of the market tomorrow, then it will be, you will hit the jackpot. But this one you do not know exactly that, because we only can, to be very fair, we cannot focus on the trend only. Okay, so this is the trends and going on. And then we also, check on it, the forecast based on the planetary alignment. Later I will explain to you what Chinese astrology is, what astrology is, and how it relates to the astronomical phenomenal. And also, activate, we have, achieved some accuracy in our investment, because we have a astrology and global trends group as well. That members that join us every month, we will give a forecast on the upcoming month's energy. Like for example, in September, I forecast that gold will go down. So a lot of members also take this opportunity to buy in gold. That time was 290 something. Today is already 300 plus. So we can see that through the 5 elements energy as well. So this is basically what we do. And personally, for me, I'm like you all. I was also working for an MNC for many years, for 30 years, until COVID hit 2020. There was a major change. At the time, I was a head of department in an aerospace industries. Okay, so at the time, the company says that they're not doing well. So I just take the package, and I already found another passion beyond my corporate job, which is, doing this. So this is why I left the company. But during my 30 years of corporate experience, I also have exposure to many types of industries, because I was in computer electronics and consumer electronics, where I get to work with a lot of manufacturers around the world. One of the as computer, they also need to use Intel chips. So we also like interact with Intel before, so in the past. But I've managed, mainly my suppliers that I manage is like Samsung, lithium battery suppliers like BYD, ATL, all these Panasonic. So these are what I do. And I also trade, because I was very passionate about Six Sigma subject at that point of time. Lean and Six Sigma, I also trained in that, in quality engineering subject. And these are a few of the things. After I retired, we will do, all these like, okay, can this one be point? Okay, so we have launched a book together with PC and I. Every year we will have, we write a book. This is our second book. So we focus on 2023, what it was. And this year is 2024. So we have another book that comes out every time. Is at the end of the year, October, to focus on the upcoming year's things. Normally you hear that, some Chinese astrologists, they will focus more on the animal sign, the forecast and everything, but we use this information to focus on astrology and also the global trends. And together with him, we team up last year to publish a book on unlock your wealth potential. So we go into the first 5 years of the new era, and then to see what are the opportunity we can tap on. Because right now, the change, and there's a lot of crisis. Along with crisis, there's always an opportunity. Okay, so this is where we want to bag in the opportunity. I also publish a lot of other books, like, supply quality management. That's my expertise, because I manage suppliers for over 20 years. Okay, so and this is some of the work that we have done together, like January forecast, month of fighting through tough obstacles. It's really tough obstacles with the Japan, and also, the earthquake that is going on around the world. So, the unrest as well. I think more and more of unrest is coming on. North Korea, South Korea is also unstable, and all these things. So we also forecast this, and this is our book launch program that we have in Populous, both in Populous KL and also Penang. And that was during my days in the corporate world. Okay, so the talk, okay, so this is, we will go into the chapter 1 of this talk, where I will introduce a bit about Chinese astrology, or just astrology itself. So it is actually, you break it down to the very fundamentals. It's actually looking at the planets around the sky only. That's all. The solar system. We are the third planet from the solar system, and each of these planets, they have their own energy. In the past, in the ancient days, people look at the sky, and they look at 5 bright, I can only see 5 bright objects, because Neptune and Uranus is too far away already. Cannot see by naked eyes, because at the time, no telescope. So many thousands of years ago, they chart the movement of all these planets, and they derive to a certain conclusion that, this pattern will give rise to certain event. Okay. At that time, no internet, I cannot forecast, no AI also cannot forecast. So they have to rely on these tools and they write down, they chart down everything. Actually, a lot of cultures also look at this. Indian also look at this. Arabs also look at the sky. I think Egyptians also look at the skies. Why Chinese, the way we do things are not superior than other culture. It's just that the record is more complete. That's all. Because if you are in Chinese, you will know that there's a lot of Chinese historian, right? That Sima Qian and all these things, that records documents a lot of this. That's why the thing is not lost, and we can, really trace back. That is all. That's why we, look at from the point of view, we just use that tools on it as a tool that is more accurate from the past to bring it to here, because of the record. Okay, so the 5 planets are, if you know Chinese astrology, we have like wood, fire, earth, metal, and water, right? These 5 elements. These 5 elements is actually energy. Energy from where? From each of these planets. Mercury represents water. Venus represents metal. Mars is fire. And this one, Jupiter is wood. Saturn is earth. Okay, so as they orbit around, there's always energy, right? They will send like frequency. Even here, we exist here, is also an energy being, because we also have our vibrational frequency. And sometimes we align to this external frequency to give rise to certain energy. Okay, so this is when they orbit around the sun, they have, certain energy to let them stay around the orbit, right? So, and it will, this frequency will project up and impacts the earth here. Okay, so all these 5 planets, that's why in the past they call it in Chinese, 5 moving objects, very bright objects. Okay, so and then Jupiter and Saturn are the biggest planet, bigger force, right? So it will impact Earth more. Okay, so that's why we have like every year we have like so-called, in Chinese culture we call it like Duke of Jupiter. Then you have to do some prayers and everything, because it happens to be in a branch palace, in your own destiny chart's palace. Okay, yeah. So how do this? So from the 5 elements chart, we can use this information. Some people use it for personal destiny reading. I use it to forecast global trends. You can forecast on harvest, because weather is related to harvest. Okay, we can even forecast for natural disasters. But okay, man-made disaster a bit challenging. Okay, not so accurate, to be very frank. But in natural disaster, it is almost to 90% accuracy. Okay, so but we can only forecast man-made events. We can only forecast from the mankind itself. What is the emotion? And the emotion will derive the thoughts, the plan, and also the action. The action will create the results. Okay, not so direct. So the interaction of this element will give rise to you to know what is going on globally. That's why in the ancient Chinese, the emperor used the Chinese astrologies to forecast. Then they will know certain province will be hit by flood that year, or hit by drought that year, and then immediately they can send aids to the people there, to the citizens there. Okay, to the royal subject, to the subject there. So
If you find this video informative, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel for more valuable insights and updates. By subscribing, you will be the first to know when I post new content.
how do we really look at this? Very simple. We can translate this Gregorian calendar into an energy map here. Okay, so 2024, is the year of dragon. Last year is rabbit. So we can forecast the heaven stem and the branch. Okay, these are all actually 5 elements energy already. So 2024, only 4th of February starts the arrival of spring, the new spring. That means it will give you the New Year's forecast. This is a very important energy map of the year that will determine how the year will fare, how 2024 will fare. Okay, so here is 2024. We actually last time we used 10,000 calendar, but now people got software. You just go and check 八字 plotter. It's called also 八字. So you can easily put this in. It means that 2024 is always the wood dragon year. the pillar here is called a pillar, a year pillar. And then followed by February. February for this year is actually a Ping Yin month. Ping Yin means that fire tiger month. Fire tiger. Tiger is actually the 12 animal signs. It's just a coding only. Inside the coding of the 12 animal signs, the branch is actually the 5 elements as well. Okay, for example, the Chen or the dragon inside is actually prominent energy. If you all have more knowledge on Chinese metaphysics or you follow some famous Chinese metaphysics teacher, they will tell you got hidden branch. Yeah, the hidden one, they got a few, but it's just that we look at the main one only, the main energy only. So it hides inside. It's actually earth energy. And all these 5 element energies, we always have the black and white, yin and yang, right? So 5 times 2 is 10. Okay, 10 types of stems. The like wood itself, we have wood, the trees, and also the shrubs, the flowers and all this, the yin wood or yi wood, they call it. And then fire also the same. We have the fire of the sun and the candlelight, so on and so forth. Earth also the same. The big mountain and also the small agriculture soil. So this one, the dragon actually hidden is actually what we really want to read now is actually the earth energy only, the 5 elements energy. And the month is Ping Yin. This one in tiger, tiger is always the wood energy, the Jia wood energy. And then followed by Wu Shit, mountain dog is also a mountain. It's actually a whole pillar of earth energy, and followed by the hour. 1629 is actually the monkey hour. So is Geng Shen is also matter energy. So yes, yes, it's Chang'an, correct. Chang'an, and then in the earth animals there will be always a few, but we only look at the main one. That's all. Okay. So here in the 5 element energy, actually they have a cycle one. They produce each other. They counter each other. They clash each other. The wood will produce fire and then weakens the wood. And then the wood will counter earth because it controls earth itself. And then wood has been clashed by metal. Okay, it clashed by metal means that there will, it will not be so comfortable. That means you yourself have been clashed, and water will produce wood. So all this, each of these, they have their own design. When you look at this chart here, it actually also can represent your birth chart. If you go and translate your Gregorian calendar, then you go and type, then it will becomes a 5 element birth chart, and you can also calculate your own birth chart's energy as well. That which elements will have the most. Okay, and what are the interaction inside. So from here, this chart itself, you know that, let me ask which one is the most dominant energy, because this is my version. In internet, you cannot find picture one. I like picture because easier to see, easier to know. Okay, I've not perfected the software in order to release it. So okay, in this which one is the most heavy element or the most prominent one? Anyone? Earth. Yeah, okay. If you look at 2023, it's prominent on fire. There's a lot of fire-related incidents happen. Okay, a lot of fire. If you look at the whole year, fire prominent. Earth is preferably want all these 5 elements to be very balanced. Then it's considered as good year because they all don't have leftover energy. All these, create, produce, clash, and all these are so very balanced, very good. Everyone happy. But once you have, elements that excess compared to the others already, and then you will have incidents that is the energy is not balanced anymore. When you don't have a balanced chart, then it will have a problem. Okay, and you will have a lot of opportunity. So earth is the most prominent, followed by maybe wood, and then fire a bit. And which one you see that is missing from the chart? What elements out of these 5 elements what don't have here? Water. Yes, correct. So water very little. Actually, is inside, hidden inside the storage of the dragon. So next year, wealth or 2024 wealth will be a bit challenging. And you have to break into the storage to get the wealth. That's what it means. And also, if you look at it, that means if you look at this earth, earth normally is not moving one. It's very slow, right? Mountain always there one. 100 years also there. Stand there, nothing happen one. So, but here, if you look at it, if you look at mountain here, we know that this wood will counter Earth ma. So you see, day and year pillar counter one. And this reference point here, the day here is so important because this year, everyone on Earth is represented. If you look at this chart from the global standpoint, every one of us are represented by Earth this year. That's what it means. So this day pillar represents us. And then year pillar is the whole macro economy, the global economy itself. And then month represents the government. Okay. And then our, it represents our pillar. When you read a destiny chart of personal one, it will represent different things. But if you read the global chart, then our, it will represent the output or the ownership, the assets, the investment. So you look at here, year counter day. Okay, wood counter earth because it's the whole pillar. Dragon and dog. If you know Chinese astrology, have a bit of knowledge. They're actually 6 positions from each other. They're actually clashing each other. Okay, that will depends on how you react to this chart here, the Jiachen here one. We cannot say that Earth people will be good, but you will be very prominent this year also, but it's actually hidden down here. The one that I think the Jia will be more prominent because heavenly stamp, everyone can see you. Okay, but if you are born in the year of dragon, then you'll be quite prominent also. Or in either one of these pillar, because it's not only animal sign that's not confined to only year, it also month, day, and hour one. So if you have any, then you will be, quite prominent because it comes up already in the year. So everyone can see you. Okay. So here is actually the whole pillar clash. That means when Earth clash, when Earth is clash, do you think it will be very stable? Do you think it will be slow moving? Earth clash, what happen? Yeah, it will have landslides, maybe earthquake also up to a certain degree. Okay. So this is one of them. Potentially, it will have a higher chance, more prominent of earthquake and earth-related incidents. Okay, or accidents or some other accidents also. Okay, so and here the month and the hour is also clash. Okay, so the thing melts the gun, the metal. Okay, and then yin, tiger and monkey is also a clash. Okay, so it will come and clash this government. That means there will be a lot of political unrest also because this is also sort of big clash. Okay, so our month clash is double clash, year day clash. So it is quite quite challenging in a sense, but also have a lot of opportunity there. You want more details on actually the year analysis, you can refer to my YouTube channel. Later on I will give you the link and you can check out my astrology talk there. Okay, so how does it impact you personally? Okay. So we have gone through one part of it. This is one way of forecasting the year. There's another tools like Qimeng and all this, if y'all know as Chinese astrology. But I will just delve into the Bazi side, the Li Chun chart only. There's also other tools. Okay. Okay. So and also I Ching. So let's go into what has this got to do? So 2024, if you look at the energy, it's not stable because it's in transition point to a new energy altogether. In our planets, actually, all these planets rotate around us. They are all in cycles. Energy are all in cycle forms. Okay, one create another or one this one because the rotation of the planets. So in Chinese astrology, they study the movement of the skies and then they come up with like one whole big cycle is 180 years. Okay, it's even governed by even a bigger cycle of 100,000 years. Okay, and what happened is that we have all this period now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until 9. When we were in 2004 to 2023, we're actually in Earth period. That time we have a lot of excess Earth period. Later I will show you what Earth period means. And then after 2023, is already we are in fire period. But the fire period already slowly transition in since 2020, the energy rate, because the energy was slowly transition, right? They don't come in overnight one. That's what it means. And then why I say so is backed up by a scientific phenomenon. Okay. Two of the largest planet, you can Google Great Conjunction. The Saturn and Jupiter, we already say bigger planet will have bigger impact on Earth, ma. Then these two somehow join together, even bigger than the force. So it will cause error change. You can see, even if you don't believe also, you can see slowly change. 80s is about when the transition time is AIDS coming in, something new, nobody know. Then 80s is 对卦, according Yi mouth. So I can see a lot of nice songs at that time. Hong Kong's, song, the Canton pop, like Beyond and all this, they become top. If you are as old as we are, okay, then you will know Jackie Chan, Sun Xue, right? All this, they come out at that time. Okay, then after that, it's slowly no more already. Even in the West also, you have Westlife, all these, boy bands, Starship, Modern Talking, all this comes out in the 80s. And the talk show, David Letterman, all this. So after that, I just say in our era, even you go to earlier on, the two world wars is also happened during the transition time. Okay, 1940s, about 1920s, that time, also at that time. And then 60s is the Vietnamese War, and 80s, and then year 2000 plus, you have 9/11 incidents, right? So that time is also energy transition. The energy transition at the time was not that great. Maybe the World War is great because impact globally. This time is very great because it's Earth transition to fire. That time is in the 80s is a metal energy transition to Earth. So the elemental value is not that high, it's not that great. Both also, metal to Earth is quite slow. When you have Earth transition to fire, it's a very great change. That's why I can see COVID impact everyone on Earth. The shutdown, right? Yeah, luckily there's no war. Actually, I'm very thankful, okay, in a way, but it's just I have pockets of war now, the unrest here and there only, but it did not result into something very big, okay. So and the part is the two largest planet, although they meet 20 years, this one is the biggest when they meet together very near to each other. It's the nearest in the history of many, a few hundred years only they meet to the nearest. That's why the transition is great. The changes we can feel today also is great. Okay. And okay, in the 80s, it's actually an Earth period. We call it 肯卦. I think a lot of people ask me those questions. I know that they already have some background in Chinese astrology also. So this time, in the period 8, don't you think that very easy to access cash? Bank will give you cheap loans, right? Yeah, 肯卦肯 is actually representing cash. So bank will give you a lot of cheap loans, like housing loans and car loans also very cheap. Okay, and affordable rate lah. Okay, and also at that time, what do you know? Even Earth related things become very prominent, like properties, right? Okay, so and that time also it was an era 肯卦represent in I Ching it represents young men. So all these people comes up, you recognize most of them, right? Or all of them, at least all of them is Michael Dell. Okay, so at least all of them. And that time also transition starts. And then to period 9, it will be different already. You can see nowadays more and more women congratulations. If you are women in your 30s to 50s, I would like to congratulate you. You will be very prominent now. Okay, so you can see more and more women comes up already. Okay, like Mary Barra, Lisa Su, this one, yeah, this one is Mary Barra, and then this is Sarah Brinkley, entrepreneur, and it's more into entrepreneurship. Nowadays, people, let's talk about entrepreneurship, and it's fire energy. Yeah, COVID that's setting in, social media, technology, AI, online world, everything about technology already. You see how much has M media gone up since last 2 years the price also. Okay, and it's represented, that's I Ching, is represented by we so-called Li Gua. So Li Gua is actually fire. Fire represents brightness and clarity, okay, energy and passion. And also, if you look at fire, fire is something, can you hold fire or not? Cannot. Among all the 5 elements, it's something that we can hold one. Wood you can hold, right? Earth you can hold, right? Metal also can hold. And then some more water also can hold, but not fire. So it's something like, very virtue one. That's why everything virtue comes in, okay? And fast burning. The world is getting faster now, and it attracts attentions. Now everyone wants to attract attention, including me also. Okay, so I have like, set up Facebook. I'm linking, even my LinkedIn profile, I have like about 8,000 followers. Okay, so all these things is online now attracting attention, and also people become spiritual. Spiritual in terms of it's not related to religion, but it's more related to you're aware of your own energy. Okay, you're aware of own energy, and you begin to realize that we also have our own energy. Everyone, if you look at Nikola Tesla, he also says that scientifically that everyone also have our own vibrational frequency. Okay, so when your vibrational frequency is good, you will attract good things into your life. Manifestation. Okay, so but everyone says about manifestation, but in Chinese astrology is we add one layer. We know which direction to tap into. We know where the energy point is, so we can tap into that. That's another topic altogether. Then independence, equality. Everyone wants equality. Like hashtag Me Too. That started I think some years ago. Then last year I was very active in Taiwan also. Okay, because of politician and all this Me Too, middle-aged women, it's a flickering mental state. That means like fire flickering. So you see mental health become very important in period 9 because it's flickering. And also online scammer. Yeah, a lot of people got scammed because nowadays online scammer virtually you can hold you can only see online okay. Yeah, so this is about this is just briefly about period 9 okay. We have actually, if you want ask me to talk about period 9, I can talk for the whole day also. So among the 5 elements I already say the center one now is the fire energy. Okay, so and then fire, does it transform things or not? Yeah, it transforms almost every element. So every industry is going through changes. Okay, and the 5 elements are here. Actually, every industries they can be represented by the 5 elements one. Wood is actually governed by the Jupiter planet's energy, represent growth, and also represents growth is related to growth industries or agriculture, wood, furniture, education, fashion, all these are under wood. Okay, and then that is fire. Fire is actually mass, governed by mass. So fire is related to technology, maybe to restaurant, to the fire things. Okay, so and also to energy lah. Okay, and earth, earth is Satan, so it's property, it's those natural resources, industries, real estate, insurance. Earth is comfortable protection so people, insurance is also grouped under there. Okay, for stability. Then metal is Venus, so it's about execution and austerism. So the finance industries last year, because the chart was very heavy on fire, so it will melt the metal. Finance is under metal, that's why you have a lot of bank related issues last year. Okay, so and also automobiles, precious metal, and heavy machinery. Okay, and then the last one is water. Water is something fast moving, like consumer products. Okay, you can move on logistics, shipping, tourism. All this is under, this is the main one. Of course there are a lot of other things that we can sort of group other, but nowadays the landscape of industries also start to change. Sometimes it will have hybrid of both also. Yeah, not necessary. So how does these changes impact us as a human on the earth? Okay, in terms of job, I would say that it's more of, because last time in my parents' time, okay, even my time also is the employment for life. We join one company, like Japan also. Japanese, they will join one company until, they graduate until they retire. I think their retirement age is about 60 plus, right? So I think now it's no more like employment for life. Okay, yeah. Okay, so traditional job is evolving now towards, because of the AI. You only start to see now, this is just the beginning. Okay, and then business also learn how to scale up efficiently because of AIs and everything. There are also like new scientific discovery because of AI also, right? And the world never sleep because fire never stops burning. That's why we have always online world that that is going on, that never sleeps. Okay, and more new jobs, more startup like in entrepreneurships. Okay, that will be evolving of, people ask me that is job going away. I say no, but it will evolve into what the world demands now. Okay, it's more towards that direction. Okay, so
Introducing Unlock Your Wealth Potential, harnessing the power of Chinese astrology and global trends for success. a groundbreaking book by Evelyn Tan and PC Wong that bridges millennia-old wisdom with cutting-edge global insights. Dive deep into the first 5 transformative years of Period 9. Discover how astrology and global trends can unlock lucrative investment opportunities for you. With Unlock Your Wealth Potential, you get not just predictions, but a strategic advantage. Delve into our meticulously researched insights on geopolitical shifts, technological breakthroughs, and the pivotal events shaping our world. With more than 13 5-star ratings on Shopee, Lazada, and MPH Online, this book is your gateway to not just surviving, but thriving in the ever-evolving global economy. Start your journey today by downloading a free chapter. Explore how the next 5 years can transform your financial destiny. Scan the QR code or use the link in the description below.
In terms of if you are in the corporate world, like I was before, the best skill set now to acquire will be personal branding. Because if you want to brand yourself, you want to be visible. Fire is visible, ma. Everyone looks at you. But at least if you are uncomfortable to, to be visible, at least your work has to be visible. That is the most important thing. Okay, and then you have to, because the thing moves so fast, like fire flickering and everything. Maybe sometimes people around you also can be very fickle-minded. Sometimes this, sometimes say that. I don't know whether, do you have this phenomenon or not like now? So you have to do your own self-reflection, calm yourself down. Don't give the energy to the fickle-mindedness, then you will also be impacted mentally. So self-reflection, sometimes calm yourself down. Because too much fire already, you have to balance up. That's the meaning of it. Okay, so do self-reflection, do breathe in, breathe out, and if some people they can do meditation or manifestation, that will be the best. And followed by also acquiring AI. AI is really the skills that everyone should put effort to masters. I personally also is now trying to master AI as well. Okay, even at my age, I will reach the official retirement age this year. Okay. Yeah. So I will invite PC to talk about the geopolitical, geoeconomics. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, Evelyn. So our topic on geopolitics and geoeconomics may sound very interesting and sometimes depressing, but it also promises a very challenging period. But as Evelyn says, it's also a period of opportunity. So just now I've been introduced, so there's no need to talk more about it. Let's talk about geopolitics. Now, in our book, Unlock Your Wealth Potential, we talk a lot about history of empires.
Yeah.
How empires started, how empire fails. And if you look through the historical trends dating back centuries, the cycles always repeats itself. So we find it best to document it down for our readers to learn about period in ancient history, how it has evolved. And from there, we come up with our own narrative on why empire rises and why empire fall. And then we talk about transformation into an empire and how an empire eventually collapsed. It's just like right now we still have an empire, okay? That is on the western side. Okay, NATO is, although people don't call it an empire, but it is an expanding military association of countries. Okay, then we talk about new empire. Like it may not come as something empire always relate to war, but maybe as a block. And right now we have emerging of BRICS. Anyone knows what is BRICS? I think for those of you who follow geoeconomics and geopolitics, you would know what are the BRICS. Now, BRICS basically meant Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And 1st of January, there were 5 more new members. Of course, Argentina, after the election, they pulled out of BRICS. But the 5 new members of BRICS comes with very strong power, not in terms of military sense, but in terms of population, in terms of oil reserves that they own about 46% of the global oil reserves, and many of them are oil-producing countries. Now, Saudi Arabia has joined, Iran has joined, UAE has joined. These three itself are OPEC countries. And on top of that, you may not know, Brazil, Russia, and China are one of the top 10 oil producers in the world. Now, people always talk about China as the upcoming tech hub. Talk about China as by economic-wise, PPP means purchasing power parity. PPP, okay? China is the world #1 economy now. And you may not know, China is also the top 10 oil producer, but China is also the world's largest gold producer. Okay, a lot of things that China now is already the top. Out of the world's WIPO index, okay, World Intellectual Property Organization index, China ranks #1 right now. Okay, and China is the world's largest shipbuilder, overtaking Korea. They took about 56% of the global order. South Korea before that was world #1. They now have only 24%. So China industry is so
Dynamic.
is moving at a breakneck speed. Okay, so that's why a lot of people say the future is in China. And some people like to measure GDP by capita, per capita. Okay, of course, if let's say your country experience high inflation like the US, okay, a lot of the money, the economy is driven by debt. Then of course your GDP will be very high. Now, for those of you who have really want to know why I say that the US economy is driven by debt, all you have to do is to look at the US debt clock, where now right now the US debt is 34 trillion. Okay, and why the S&P is moving higher and higher? Because it's through debt that comes with the financialization of asset that push up the index. But in terms of PPP, the US is now world rank #2. Okay, then we talk about the Eurasian continent. Why the Eurasian continent is so important? If you look at the BRI, the Belt and Road Initiative right now, and you understand what is happening in the Red Sea, the Houthis are attacking the shipping lane in the Red Sea. So all the ships are being diverted through the Cape of Good Hope in South Africa and on to Europe. And what does it cost? Now, recently, containerized freight costs have increased 61%. Imagine 61%. That means the cost of goods that is transferred from China to Europe will now cost 61% higher. And what does it do? It creates inflation in Europe. So a lot of people like to say inflation right now has come down. No, it has not. Inflation will keep on going up and up because not only US, but all central banks are actually printing money to sustain the economy. Okay, so that is why the BRI now becomes very important, because everyone suddenly realized that freight transport through overland from China via Russia and Central Asia to Europe is much cheaper than shipping. So that is the importance of BRI. Okay, then we talk about geopolitical tensions and hotspots. Believe it or not, yeah, in our book, in the Water Rabbit Year 2023, we have a specific segment on geopolitics, which we predicted there will be war in the Middle East. Okay, and in our book, we also highlight why there's a war in the Middle East right now.
That was in year 2022, November, we published that book before anything happened yet.
We already anticipated a lot of all these tensions, and we also anticipated more tension in the Taiwan Strait, and we also predicted that the war in Ukraine will be in Russia's favor. And right now, if you look through, you can see that after all the brouhaha about supporting Ukraine, right now a lot of NATO countries are saying we don't have any more money. Okay, that means that it's not ending in their favor. And we also highlight why Russia would be very difficult to be defeated. How can you defeat a country that has 7 trillion worth of mineral resources? 70 trillion of mineral resources, world largest resource country. And all the Western countries are wanting to go into Russia simply because of that. That's why we have this tension, okay? That it's a proxy war because Russia has a lot of natural resources. The Western side does not have the Western resources, and that's why they think that by having that war, they can sanction Russia, and then Russia would come begging, and then they would take large pieces of Russia. Just like in 1990s when Yeltsin was a poor leader, a lot of the oligarchs, the rich Russian oligarchs, used the resources and sell to the West until Putin came into power, and then all the oligarchs fled to Western Europe because they were selling Russia mineral resources to the Western side at a very low price that Russia does not see the benefit. So because of all this, now whatever war that is being waged throughout ancient history, from colonialism in South America, Asia, is always for resources, not freedom and democracy. Okay, so the role of BRICS and then why it matters to the global South. So right now, BRICS, they are strengthening. And one of the key things that the BRICS countries are stating is that we are going to de-dollarize. Have you all heard about de-dollarization? Malaysia is even promoting it, okay, that we need to de-dollarize. Why do we need to de-dollarize? Because if the Fed keep on printing money and the US dollar keep in circulation, keep on expanding, what will happen? US would actually fail to pay the debt. Do you know that right now US interest payment on the debt is more than 1 trillion a year? US total tax revenue is about 4.5 trillion. Okay, so put it in your head, 4.5 trillion minus 1 trillion in interest payment is 3.5 trillion. Social security is 1 trillion. That's another 1 trillion. So now, right now is 2.5 trillion. Military and defense, 0.9 trillion. So 2.5 minus 0.9, 1.6. Medicaid is 1 trillion. So left 600 billion. 600 billion support government staff, support other departments, agencies, and all those. That's why the US is incurring 2 trillion deficit every year. And 2 trillion deficit every year needs to be sustained by new debt issue. That's why you see the US debt keep on increasing. So a lot of countries are very worried because at some point in time, the US dollar will keep on hyperinflating. And therefore, it will destroy a lot of economies. That's why people want to de-dollarize. And you see that a very strong movement now among the BRICS country. And also in ASEAN, inter-ASEAN, we are now encouraging, let's trade in local currency. Because if you trade in local currencies, you actually save money. Imagine if you want to buy something from Singapore, you convert into US dollar, you lose on the conversion rate. Okay? Then Singapore side, when they receive the US dollar, they have to change it back into Sing dollar, also lose on the conversion rate. So might as well Malaysia and ringgit, Malaysia and Singapore have a swap facility. Okay? When I sell to you, if Malaysia feels that we want to own more Sing dollars, I will pay you in Sing, then Malaysia actually carry Sing. Okay? Then if let's say Singapore say we have a lot of trade in Malaysia, we want to hold more ringgit, so that any trade we can pay in ringgit. So this kind of dual swap facility between governments actually has a much lower cost, because if you transact through forex through bank, that's a higher cost. So that's why more countries right now want to de-dollarize. And can you imagine a country that has 34 trillion in debt, but a lot of people do not want its currency? What will happen to the US dollar? And that is why, if you want an answer, why the Fed wants a high interest rate, is because it wants to protect the US dollar. Otherwise, who wants to hold US dollar if, let's say, it keeps on hyperinflating? So right now there's a war. You can call it ideological war You can call it a financial war or even an economic war. Economic war, you can see by the number of sanctions, okay, that's being implemented between countries. Okay, China, US sanction China, China sanction US through important minerals, for example, gallium, germanium. Gallium especially is very important in the semiconductor industry. China is retaliating with a sanction on rare earth minerals. That's very important for electrification of infrastructure. For example, the windmills run on magnets. Electric vehicles run on magnets. Even our phone actually has magnets inside. That's why you create the vibration that we can communicate. Okay, that's why the risk of conflict has escalated, because it has become a it has become a ideology, economic, and financial war. Because inevitably, US is a declining power. It's a declining power because it has been the economy has been driven too much by debt. Any country that survives through debt can only last so long. The US can actually keep interest rate very high and cut military spending and use the debt to build its economy. But it's not being done because of needing to keep the what we call the rules-based international order, having a say in global events. So no empire in the history of time has ever survived for more than 100 years. I mean, for more than 100 years, very few. In our book, we actually date back the the world reserve currency during different types of empire. All of them, out of so many throughout the last few centuries, the US dollar is the longest remaining one. But it is showing signs of weakness because any currency since history has never exceeded X number of years. And right now, US have exceeded all the rest. It's just a matter of time. If you understand why empire rises and fall, you will, where we highlight, because it all comes from wanting to maintain power, and that's the human psychology. Ancient Rome actually also fell. Why? Because they waged too many wars, have too many military outposts in ancient history, and they have to finance that. When the more you finance, the more you have military involvement in other countries, the more rebellion will step in. Then you need to finance more. The more you finance, the more rebellion. So eventually, what Rome did was they decided that normally they pay people in silver coins. Then they say, let's not use 100% silver. Let's add nickel and silver. So overnight, that silver the price can fall by 50%. It's just that right now, the US dollar. Now, it's very interesting if you look at ever since the introduction of the central bank, or so-called the Federal Reserve in US in 1913, the US purchasing power of the dollar has dropped 98%. Okay, the only monetary asset that not changed since 5,000 years ago, do you know what is that? Gold. You can see that ringgit keep on depreciate against US dollar. What happened to the price of gold in ringgit? Keeps on going up, isn't it? Because it's a reflection of the monetary value. That's why now I actually do talks in Bursa for Bursa as well. Okay, few years ago in 2018, in one of the Bursa seminars in Johor, I told the people, whatever you do, please buy gold. 2018 gold, I think, was 140 or 160 ringgit per gram. Right now it's 300 over. So if you have the foresight and understanding of monetary policy, you have the understanding of geoeconomics, you have the understanding of the future of money, then you can actually make safeguards against your investment. Okay? So what our book intends to do is to educate, to share with people why empire falls, why geopolitical tension often happens because of differing ideologues, because of differing leadership. Sometimes, leaders in the biggest nation are no different than sometimes the managers that we face. Okay, they can change their mind based on circumstances, because even senior management can never predict what will happen. And boom, suddenly something happened, and then it changes. So leadership in world superpowers are also the same. They react to changing times because they want to retain certain position, certain interests. So that's why our book talk a lot about geopolitics. And by writing that, we hope you will understand the shift of geopolitics in the world. Because BRICS is not going to stop at 10, Do you know that there are 70 countries now applying to join BRICS? If you think about it, what happens if, let's say, 2/3 of the global population or global economy decide not to use the US dollar? US dollar will plummet. Okay? So that is why, if you look at it, we also talk about a bit about Japan. We even say that the Japan government can never stop printing money. And Japan yen has actually depreciated a lot because everyone is raising interest rate, but the BOJ says that tunggu dulu, kita tengok, see how first, all talk. And that's why the yen keep on appreciating. And Japan interest, Japan inflation right now is around 4%, if I'm not wrong. 4% may not look high, but do you know that Japan started with deflation at 0.1%? If 0.1% deflation right now to 4%, that's almost 4 times, isn't it? What you purchase right now is 4 times the price. Okay, just like in terms of ringgit. Okay, ringgit, when the US hike interest rate, ringgit to US dollar also see a widening gap. But the thing is, I can tell you, the Fed cannot keep rising interest rate. They will cut eventually, because who wants to buy US government bonds? Okay, when the US dollar keep on in circulation keeps on going up, so no one wants to buy, because the value of the bond will lose money to inflation. If you buy a 10-year US bond, okay, 10 years ago, that US bond is worth so much. But after inflation, over 10 years, what you get back minus the inflation is actually negative. So people do not want to buy US bonds. And what will happen if nobody wants to buy the US bond? The Fed will have to be the last buyer. So the Fed will be like BOJ, keep on buying and buying and buying and buying, because there's no alternatives. If you know that the Fed eventually will weaken the US dollar, then you will know where your investment will stand. Okay? Anyone has any idea where to put your money? If currencies of the world keep on deteriorating, gold, right? Because gold has not changed its value in 5,000 years. But there's also not only gold. Commodities are traded in mostly US dollar, right? If let's say the US dollar fall, what happened to the price of commodity? In terms of US dollar, you have to rise, isn't it? So then you will know where to put your money. Okay? Cryptocurrency is a very interesting thing. Some people say that Bitcoin is the new digital gold.
In our book, we also talk about.
We talk about Bitcoin. But
Yeah,
if you want to talk about Bitcoin later, wait for me. I'll talk about CBDC. And everyone knows what is CBDC? CBDC means central bank digital currency, and it's coming to Europe. Actually, it's a bad thing. Okay.
Okay.
But let's talk about that
Sure.
afterwards. Talk about geoeconomics. We have a brief history of global reserve currencies. We have a snapshot of how EM economies are faring. In fact, we show where it's going. Now, the top performing emerging market in the world over the last 10 years is which country?
US,
Emerging market,
emerging market.
not developed market.
Oh, China.
China. China economy grew by more than 4,000%. The next one, second one, Vietnam. Vietnam also grew by more than 4,000%. Malaysia, 700 plus percent. So it goes to show that certain countries are far escalating much faster. Okay. Then we talk about the rise of China, and now the country has cornered multiple and future high-tech innovation. Some people say, maybe 10 years ago, people say China is good at copying. But China right now is the leading tech industry. The only thing that China still lacks is semiconductor. And that's why you see the US is trying to stop China, from gaining advantage in the semiconductor. China is leading in EV. Some people like to say that, hey, no, it's Tesla. Do you know that Tesla autonomous driving vehicle only have ADAS? They don't have LiDAR.
Exciting news! We've just released the 2025 Wood Snake Year Astrology and Global Trends Forecast. This is your ultimate guide to navigating the complex year ahead. Inside, you'll discover powerful insights on global economic, geopolitical, and financial trends, helping you make smart, informed decisions. Whether you're looking to capitalize on new opportunities or protect your investments, this book has got you covered. Ready to get a head start on 2025? Click the link below to download a free chapter now. Want the book for free? Here's how. Join our membership at the comprehensive or premium level, and you'll receive the 2025 forecast as a complimentary gift. Simply purchase the book using the link provided, then submit your receipt to offset the 50 ringgit membership fee. With membership, you'll not only get the book, but also enjoy early monthly forecast full recordings, presentation slides, exclusive talks on astrology and trends, and much more. Choose your plan and start your journey toward financial foresight. Buying the book is simple. Just head over to our ebook store link, add the book to your cart, and complete your purchase. Be sure to save your receipt, as you'll need it to apply for your membership fee discount. Take the first step toward a successful 2025 by securing your copy today. Ready to join our Astrology and Global Trends community? Complete your membership registration using the link below. Attach your book purchase receipt if you're claiming the 50 ringgit discount, and unlock access to our exclusive resources and forecasts. Let's make 2025 your most prosperous year yet. As a premium member, you'll receive our detailed weekly report, a 10-page package packed with valuable market insights, precious metals updates, and global news analysis. Plus, you'll get strategic Shimen directions every week to enhance your planning and decision-making. This report is designed to give you the edge in today's fast-changing world. Don't just take our word for it. See what our members have to say. Their feedback highlights the value and impact of our astrology and global trends forecasts. Join our community and experience these benefits firsthand. With insights that empower, you'll gain clarity and confidence for the year ahead.
Okay, LiDAR is the new cutting edge in electric vehicles because it uses laser sensor. Laser sensor that swipe the surrounding. Others use camera. Camera follows a certain prefix angle. So that's why China is leading in EV. China is also leading in AI by default. Why? Because you have 1.4 billion people that consumes using the technology. And what you have then, 1.5 billion people consuming different parts of the sectors, you have big data. So that's why, in terms of AI, you can see China development of AI is different from US. US development of AI is very focused on AI as a service, just as they did for software as a service. That's why you have, few years back, you have PaaS now, you have SaaS now you have AIaaS. But China says, let's do AI in manufacturing first. Last year alone, Robotics density, according to country, China ranks #1. China right now has factory that operate in dim light because it's all robotic. Robotic works through sensor. There's no need for illumination. So what they invest in the robotics, they save on energy because the whole factory uses dim lighting. And Huawei has come up with technology that allows the mining of underground coal mines to be done using AI and 5G. So China is leading in a lot of places, especially in IoT. Some of you might know IoT, Internet of Things. Anyone knows what is IIoT? Industrial Internet of Things. And right now is AIoT, Artificial Intelligence of Things. So if you want to know the latest jargon in technology, you should follow Huawei, you should follow Xiaomi to know what they are doing. Because it also affects, what the company, the competitor, what they do. Okay. So Intel also has been very aggressive. I just learned yesterday that Intel is the first recipient of 2 nanometer EUV from SML. Even TSMC haven't got it yet. Okay. So Intel is also, very urgently trying to look into it. But actually, the next stage of semiconductor is semiconductor will increasingly diminish over a longer period of time because the next stage is set for quantum computing. Okay. So we talk about US sanctions, why it won't work. Okay. If US sanctions work, then you wouldn't see China EVs right now being world #1. They've even exceeded Japan as world #1 car exporter. Okay, sanctions will not work when you have 1.4 billion people who supports the development of the industry. So that's why, you know that China spent about 100 over billion to cultivate the semiconductor industry in China. But of course, some of that actually go into wastage. Okay. But it goes to show that they see it as very important because it's something that they must break so that they can avoid the sanctions. Then we talk about BRI and INSTC. Now, BRI, you all would know, right? Belt and Road Initiative. What is an INSTC? That's the International North-South Transport Corridor. That is from Iran all the way to Europe through Russia and Central Asia, especially Azerbaijan and Iran. So if you look at it, BRI is for moving the oil in the Middle East through Iran all the way to China. So if you understand this, then you know why Iran is important. Okay. And then you know why there is war in Syria, Iraq, in Yemen, because it's all driven by geopolitical concerns. Not so much about ideology. Ideology is something to dress up the true intention. Okay, so Iran is an important land bridge. And because of this land bridge, Russia can safely have a north-south corridor. And then we talk about how BRICS will trade in local currency, how it works, and how it will evolve. Now, there's a lot of talk that BRICS will eventually come up with their own currency. A lot of people say that it will be a common currency, such as renminbi or yuan, but it may not. Only thing is that right now there's a lot of transaction between United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia in oil using yuan or renminbi. That's why right now people are saying that the petrol yuan will dominate and reduce the dominance of the petrol dollar. But it may not need be. I suggest a trend. In my book, I show you central banks of BRICS nations have been actively buying gold. Now, what if that oil trade is based on gold as a currency? Because right now, the petro yuan, the renminbi, can be exchangeable for physical gold at the Shanghai Gold Exchange. So it builds up a scenario whereby Saudi Arabia say, we want to trade with you in renminbi or Saudi riyal. You can buy oil from us, okay, but we want to pay in renminbi because I leave the option for me to change into gold. But because you are my good trading partner, I buy a lot of goods from you because China is a world manufacturer. I buy a lot of goods from you. I pay you back in renminbi. Okay, you invest in Saudi Arabia, you build our infrastructure, I will pay you in renminbi. So suddenly that currency ceases to have meaning, you know. That currency is a means or medium. But what is actually happening is actually barter. You get your oil, I get the infrastructure. The currency is just a medium. So this is going to change because UAE just sold two shipments of LNG to China using renminbi. That doesn't mean renminbi will go up, but it shows that more people would actually want to trade oil using renminbi as a medium because they can always buy something from China. China is the world's largest manufacturer of goods. Very simple solution. Rather than needing to convert into US dollar, then the other side convert into renminbi. Okay. So then we talk about introduction to CBDCs in our book. Now, CBDC is something that can be very depressing. Okay, CBDC means central bank digital currency, and Europe will be the first one to implement. And having followed what the central banks in Europe say, I find it very depressing because Europe has gone berserk. You all watch Chinese Wujia movie, right? Wujia series, right? You know what is 走火入魔? Okay, Europe has gone into that stage.
The fire has become over this.
The demon has come in.
Yeah,
Okay.
a demon.
Western, they mention going to the dark side.
Okay,
Yeah.
because Europe has totally gone berserk on the CBDC. You know what's their CBDC? According to the BIS general manager, he says that through CBDC, we can control the economy. We can control the consumption. Even some sectors in Europe, they say, why not we match CBDC with carbon footprint? So which means your money is right now held in a digital currency. And when you go to the supermarket to shop for oil, for cooking, shop for beef, beef is actually not ESG friendly. That's why the Dutch government, they closed 30 farms, 3,000 farms, because they find that cow emits a lot of emission. Because cow eat a lot of veggie, they fart a lot. So they say contains methane. So cow actually raise the carbon footprint. So now imagine you as a consumer going to buy oil because olive oil because you want to cook your beef. Okay, both also got carbon footprint. So everyone will be limited to a certain carbon footprint. If you exceeded that carbon footprint, you will not be able to buy anymore. Those with carbon footprint. Crazy, isn't it? But never mind, you can still buy because in the Europe we have something called the carbon exchange. So you buy more carbon credits, no? But that is already a tax, isn't it? Okay, you pay service tax when you buy the meat, you pay service tax when you buy the oil, and when you finish your carbon credit, you have to buy it from carbon credit from the exchange. So it's more tax. So it has become so crazy that they are suggesting this. Okay, have you all ever watched the Justin Timberlake movie called Just in Time? Just in Time is something similar, you know, whereby they limit the human life to X number of hours. So in order to fulfill a task, you have to work to create credit for the hours. So eventually what Justin Timberlake did with the actress was they go and rob all the time banks. Okay, rob the rich people because they have a lot of hours. Then they stay longer, stay alive longer. So this is something similar. Okay, because they are limiting consumption. And ESG has become so terrible that it's creating food inflation. When you reduce the amount of cows, what happens? Dairy price goes up, cheese goes up, beef goes up. Food inflation goes up. And even worse, Europe right now has planned by 2026, they will remove 23 or 26 fertilizer plant in Europe. Why? Because it emits carbon. That's crazy. Hmm? Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So
Last
that's
slide.
why when it comes to Bitcoin, they are doing everything they can to kill Bitcoin. Okay. Cryptocurrency is not something that you should follow everything. Okay. Because every month there's some new cryptocurrencies coming out. A lot of them are just scam. A lot of them just to get invested in, pump it up, then it goes down. But you really wants to go into those that have utility. Okay. Some people say Ethereum. Okay. Some people say XRP. But most people say stick to Bitcoin because that's the like the golden standard. But Bitcoin certainly is not digital gold. Okay. Because if let's say it's digital gold, it need to be held as an asset that does not have huge volatility in its price. You see Bitcoin from 69 dropped to 13,000. So how can it be a reserve asset? Because you cannot have volatility. Assuming you are the central bank, yeah, you buy Bitcoin at 69,000, then after that it drops down to 13,000. Your reserve is down by 50 over 1,000. So that's why Bitcoin will have its own group of people that will use it to fight against the CBDC. Because the CBDC of all this infringement in privacy will not gain the people's trust. So what they do, they go and create their own dichotomy of a different system where they will accept Bitcoin or different type of cryptocurrencies. But if you want to put it, which currency stands on top as a reserve, you can only check with the central banks. Central banks have been actively buying gold for the last 3 years. Okay. So quick one, future technology landscape. We will see new materials and processes in semiconductors to enhance performance to improve yield. Because there's always, I think for you all in the industry, you know what is Moore's law, right? Up to a certain moment, you can only go so small before it becomes very costly or very energy deficient. Because the smaller area it is, the more intensity of transistors, it creates greater heat. So that's why the next stage will be more on improving processing and improving the design or the software. Whereas new materials may come in that may change the semiconductor landscape totally, such as recently announced the introduction of scientists have created a layer of graphene that can be used for semiconductor at the very early stage. Then, of course, the other thing is to go into quantum computer, which uses photonic chips that are very different from semiconductor. Some companies are looking at hybrid, intermediate between chips and quantum computing. Then AI divergence. As I mentioned just now, there's two divergence. One, AI as a service, the other AI as manufacturing. Then with AI, we have medical science, diagnosis, surgery were advanced owing to AI, IoT, robotics, 5G, and 6G. Now 6G will enter around 2030. NEVs and UAVs will reach new milestones. In our book, we actually predicted that China will be the first one to introduce flying taxi. 4 months later, the first company in China given the license to operate a flying taxi. So our book has been very accurate. Okay. New energy and nuclear breakthrough. We also say a new breakthrough will come into nuclear energy. After we have written the book, China built its first thorium reactor that doesn't need water because nuclear is very hot they need to have nearby water resource to cool down the reactor. But with thorium reactor, it can even operate in a desert. So one of our prediction also came true. Okay, a lot of our prediction in the book actually came true.
Alright, this is all the time that we have today. If you like video like this, do remember to subscribe to us, as we are going to share a monthly book club sharing just like this one. If what has been shared resonate with you, I encourage you to check out Malaysia Semicon and the EMS featuring Peter Lim, which I'm going to share the link over here. And finally, be a little bit kinder to yourself and the people around you, and above all, happy learning. I'll see you again in the next episode. Bye bye.